I lit me a fag, and having took a drag, I replied, I just couldn't bear to dig it elsewhere. I'm digging it round, 'cause I don't want it square. If you disagree, it doesn't bother me. This is the place where the owl's gonna be. A great song by, well, it's sung by Bernard Cribbins. I don't know whether he wrote it, no idea, but it's great. I don't know what year it was, maybe produced by George Martin, I think, who produced the Beatles, mostly. In fact, did he produce all the Beatles? Anyway, the song, lyrically, I think, sums up part of what's wrong, or a great deal of what's wrong with society and the way it's structured. All the nonsense, the bureaucracy, the paperwork, the red tape that I absolutely abhor. And yes, just fill this form in. Why? If I can do that, I don't need to fill a form in. I can drive a digger. I can do this. I can do, you know, what? What do I need that for? Please tell me. Anyway, there's an answer, yeah, but it's not a very good one. Anyway, it's I'm in my shed again because I haven't actually moved into the other place. My fire, which I am moving into the new place, is still in the shed, and it's not moving until it gets warmer, which probably won't be for another month or two. Got the easterly winds, which always happen this time of year, and it sort of stops things from maybe spring from happening so quickly. Maybe that's what it usually does, anyway. So I've been today. I've been down with my friend Mike at his place where we play guitar and record it and all that. And just been we haven't been doing that. We've been taking the last of his big trees down in his garden, his back garden, and so it's been a fun day. Chilly, you have to keep working to keep warm, but that was easy. And the reason why I mentioned Mike Robinson, he'll comment most times. He comments on this. He knows we're not living on a spinning ball. He's a wise man, in other words. And his channel, I've decided to put the music on his channel to keep this one, kind of focused on the subject, even though most of the music is about that. And so if you'd like to visit him, hopefully you'll comment below this and you just click on his name. Is it Robinson Mike? Or anyway, I just see it as Mike Robinson because I know him so well. And if you'd like to listen to, it's mostly what we've done before, but different versions or better versions, hopefully. So there you go. So that anyway, the previous, I know there's been another Saturday night. It's been Sunday today, Sunday the 14th of, let me think, April. The previous Saturday, not yesterday, was when Beyond the Imaginary Curve went into a new format where the link is sent to selected people who require it or ask for it. Unfortunately, it was selected a wrong one, but there you go. But it only happened once, and we don't get all that fucking nonsense. So it's really, it was always absolutely brilliant, but now it's even better. And depending on who the people who the guests are, it can make for a really interesting couple of hours or hopefully longer. So well done, man. Well done. It's just, it's in all the fucking nonsense that goes on around the surrounding this subject. it's so nice to have somewhere to go that's it doesn't dilly dally. It gets on with it, and it's a pleasure to. And I just one day I'll hope that I can um, appear on it if I'm allowed. But as circumstances just won't let me do that at the moment. But don't think I'm in any way snubbing it, because that's not at all correct. Anyway, one of the chaps, I'm sorry, I'm useless with names, I've said many times, but he brought up the subject of what he probably knows as flat earth loneliness, where you feel like an island of sanity in all this nonsense that goes on around you. People believing they're living on the spinning ball. Well, they're not going to be very stable, are they, mentally? In fact, I think that they're mentally ill, these people. Now, of course, as Dell said um, on that particular hangout, I think it was that one, maybe it been another. But you can't. Well, you can. I suppose you can judge them, but you you can't blame them. I mean, we were all like this once. Most people who know now know that we don't live on a spinning ball. Of course, we were like that. We were under the influence of the same bullshit, and many of those people will have known the globe um, model. The globe. There is no model of the globe, but the globe theory very well. I certainly did. Yet when I came to the realization that it was bullshit, I learnt even more about it, and that because I was trying to prove that it wasn't bullshit. Yet, so I had to learn a great deal more about it, and found out that it was total bullshit. In fact, the more you learn about it, the more bullshit is exposed. So, um, there you go. So don't ever say, "Oh, you don't know anything about it," because yes, most people who know that we're not living on a spinning ball will know much more than the average ball earther. But the loneliness issue, um, it can be quite. And I live very in isolation anyway. I don't see that many people, and the few people I do see, mostly anyway, know that it's not a spinning ball. Mike, my mother, and if one or two other people, Baz. Um, but the few and far between. And I've got some great friends, and they will, we'll always remain friends, no matter what they believe. And they, they are, they, their, their impression of me, I'm not really sure of. Maybe they think, poor lad, poor lad. And I have had an enormous amount of sympathy from my good friends for what's happened to me, the head injuries and all that. And maybe they think it's a symptom of that, but it really isn't. I am mentally, I think, I am as sharp as I was before the accident. But I can't really quantify that because, hey, I was in a coma for a while, but but to me, I don't need sympathy. I don't want sympathy. I just want a little bit of, if my head's hurting very badly today, just, maybe leave me alone for a while. And that's all I require. Just a little bit of understanding. That's fine. But as for my mental capacity, as for sussing things out, oh, I've always been, I think anyway, um, pretty aware of the goings on around me, whether it be in nature or um, socially. You can read people. I'm a person who can do that, so I think. And again, academically, I was put in the higher class at school. So, what can you say? Look, I'm not saying I'm fucking fantastic, because I know I'm not. I know I have all the flaws that any human would have, and the rest. But don't think that people who know that they're not living on a spinning ball are in some way retarded, because it is quite the opposite. I will tell you now that it's quite the opposite. Usually. There are some retarded flat earthers, of course, and they can be called flat earthers. That's not a term that I would like to be called, but people will call me one. And hey, it's okay. It's better than being called a ball earther. And the fact that you may feel isolated because of the knowledge that you have, um, I can totally get with that. I understand what that chap was saying, but the real incentive from that should be to try and um, don't persuade or cajole or um, bombard people with this information, but just drop the odd hint, plant the odd seed, and try and get their cogs whirring. I mean, the fact that I watched that video by Jeronism. He's not one of my favourite people, but "Are We Spinning" was the title to it, and when I watch things like that, I just love the information that's given. Like we say, we don't focus on the personality. You might think I'm a total prick. That's fine by me, but hopefully the information I will give is useful. And I don't think Jaren's a total prick, by the way, but it's one of those people I wouldn't really trust. But anyway, sorry if that upsets you. But hey, But what that video that he posted is very good, and I can't understand why people don't get it when if they just watch that. The the factual information in that video alone completely destroys the ball Earth. Now, they're in their spaceball world of nonsense. Everything has to be in motion, and the Earth ain't spinning. So, and you can tell that just by life living here, and there would be no life. Well, not as we know it, Jim, if the Earth was spinning at 1,037.5 miles an hour or some bullshit. I remember I filmed a log dryer that it's not my design, but it's a good design, and I showed it a year ago or more now. And some smart ass said, "Does it also work on a spinning ball?" And I thought, what a stupid thing to say, for one thing. And of course not. There would be no trees to chop the logs to, you idiot. So, okay, back to the subject of loneliness. Sooner or later, the subject is going to come up. If you're with your ball earther friends or friend, and you're just having a normal conversation, there will be certainly something that will, oh, they'll say planet or something like that, and you'll just go, for fuck's sake. But if you've already had the sort of, the bit of a conversation about it and they just reject it totally, then it's not a good idea to keep hammering it home, because they're just not ready for the information, or they're not maybe bright enough to take it on. Because a lot of people just think, oh no, leave that to the people who know, such as Brian Cox. But he knows jack shit. He's an idiot, of course, total idiot. And just just know, just find some inner tranquility that the knowledge brings you, and be satisfied with that. You don't have to argue all the time with other people. Just let them have their ridiculous, nonsensical beliefs, and be assured in yourself that you know what's right, what's true, and all that. I know it's bloody annoying, and one of the most annoying things is, like, I was driving in the car the other day. I had to go to Scarborough for some reason. What was it now? Oh yes, yeah. But let's not go into that right now. And I was driving back from Scarborough, and it was a BBC Two radio channel I was listening to, and there was an advert for a BBC television programme, which thankfully I won't be watching, and they were on about fantastic visions, images from space. So I just thought, that's desperation. They know this is happening. They know the wave of people throwing out the ball Earth bollocks is happening. It's like a wave flooding over the Earth, and they're trying to keep it back, But the King Canute couldn't do it. The BBC will not be able to do it. But there you go. That's the desperation they're in. They're trying to present something that will make people think, oh, there must be space, because look. But if there's any images from up there, they're either from high-level balloons, like weather balloons, or planes that fly high. They're certainly not from satellites in the vacuum of infinite space, which is utter bullshit. Unless you can present a vacuum next to a gas pressure for me. No, I didn't think so. Therefore, it's bullshit. Anyway, I must go now because, I've gone over my allocated time. Well, it's not really anymore, but I used to only have 15 minutes allocated to me from YouTube. Now I think it's half an hour or more now. But I know people's attention spans are limited. Me too. But not always. But listen to me, definitely will be. So I'll leave you with it now. And thanks for watching, folks.